As they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
Oh, I hit the wrong button. I thought I was on this
Fuck it.
page.
This is Past the Rock.
Well, I mean, there's going to be a lot of Rangers
No, we
fans
will-
thinking about doing that.
The magic of editing will allow that to not have
It
happened.
would, but I'm going to own my own mistake here.
All right.
Because it's not that big of a deal. But yes, we might be talking about hockey around here sooner rather than later because the Texas Rangers are not winning
Good.
baseball games.
No, they're done.
It's over.
It's time to go ahead and move on with your life if you're a fan. And you can still watch the games, all that good stuff. But the playoffs are, in fact,
It
not
would be a
necessarily
miracle at this point.
You can talk about all the logistics of the Rangers making the playoffs, but I think the most important thing you can say about it is, do you actually want it?
I do. What I would say, the worst thing you could say about it, which is the most true thing you can say about it, is mathematically we're not eliminated yet, which is the nicest way to say.
No, and I mean,
it ain't happening.
And it's sort of felt this way for about a week and a half now, which leads you to.
There was a nice push right after the All-Star game going into the trade deadline. And then we went to Seattle, and it has not recovered. It's been in a tailspin ever since. And that's all facets kind of coming apart.
All of it.
Patrick Corbin, he's turned back into the pumpkin we thought he would be at the beginning of the season. He's made an incredibly long time without blowing up.
Yeah, no, he did. He did his job.
What he did more, I think he did way more than anyone expected him to. And it's just another sad note on
doesn't mean a goddamn
one
thing.
of the greatest pitching staffs, absolutely the greatest pitching staff we've ever had. Maybe one of the greatest pitching seasons of all time. If you talk about the top two guys, two possible Cy Young winners on the same team right now that we'll forget about. Well, we won't, but everyone else outside of here will.
At this point, I do even wonder how much they'll keep Nate in consideration. Like, do wins even matter? I mean, he's got to essentially throw.
If he
he's
gets
got to do
the
some
innings,
complete games.
if he gets the innings, I think he gets it. But it's gonna be tough to get the innings because they're gonna be careful. They're already skipping the next DeGrom start.
Yep.
They're letting O'Houlihan, what's his name?
Bush League getting his ass beat tonight, right?
Bush League.
League.
Sure, and that's cool for him. Great. Let's see what he's got.
Didn't look like it started well, but it's going.
The most interesting thing at this point is, well, we should mention before I get there, John Gray has thoracic outlet syndrome. We put him on waivers. No one picked him up. He's likely done here. He might be done for his career, sadly.
He was pitching batting practice pretty much every time he was out after this injury.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He's another huge major component. People forget that Max Scherzer had to leave Game 3 of the World Series with an injury, and John Gray came in and shut it down. A very pivotal Game 3.
I think there's going to be a lot of people who look back at the Rangers World Series and be like, how the fuck did that happen? And they'll look at some of the stats, some of the players who were on the team, and they're like, damn, they did actually kind of a lot of things fell right in the right spots for this group.
It was clutch. Jankowski was clutch. Heim was clutch. Guys who were on the periphery were clutch, which is what you need. And we have some of that this year, but unfortunately not all the stars were clutch for most of the year.
I mean, Adolis is potentially never going to be a Ranger again. We may never see him play again, right? Or is he
Sadly enough.
They're not. Like, I was very unclear about what they did with him. He's just not playing?
He get some time off. I wonder if he's on the IL technically, so he might get some Frisco games before coming back. I would assume he'd come back unless they just decide to shut him down for the year, which would be a little weird, but they could do.
I mean, what do you do if you're both sides here? If you're the Rangers, maybe you're thinking about bringing him back on the discount of discounts, or you're willing to let the market take him away.
It's interesting, yeah. I'm sure they would like to have him back up to a certain number, obviously. Yeah. And then the question is, did he do enough damage to where other teams aren't willing to risk it, or do they think he's got something still?
It's just like, what was consistent about this year? The strikeouts and him still having a cannon from outfield.
Yeah, he's the defense didn't dip yet. But the bat looked terrible. Yeah. What is interesting is we've got technically 7 guys only signed up for next year. Baseball's a little weird because there's pre-arbitration on a bunch of these guys,
Right.
which
That-
means we
it doesn't
basically
mean
pick your
diddly squat.
salary, so they're still on the team.
Mhm. Josh Young is an interesting question now because it's been the worst year ever for him, and then he bounced back a little bit, and now we're back on
Yeah,
the
I think
scary
he's
territory.
he's going to be there next year, and we'll see what happens.
But that's the thing is he going to be here, or do
Right.
you look at this offseason and
Hey,
say,
same
all right,
same with Evan Carter, which is when you're in the lineup, it seems to go all right, and then until your back goes, and then it goes poorly,
I
then we
would
got to take you
say-
out.
and maybe I'm not understanding the evaluation of players better, but I would assume we could actually get something of value for Josh Young. I would assume Evan Carter has no value, or nothing better than him playing for the Rangers
Probably not, no,
at this point.
unless you just want to play the prospect game, which good luck because
Because-
he's one of your prospects.
Because that would tip the hand. I mean, I don't think that we're anywhere near that conversation, but I do think
No,
the
I
funny
think he's-
part.
He's so cheap right now. He's making under $1 million this year.
Yeah.
I don't think that moves anywhere without a fantastic offer.
But I do think that there's going to be some impatience from Chris Young. I think that I think we might even see him talk out of turn or maybe out of character a couple of times because this is a very disappointing season for him because there's no excuse this year. It just
No, I mean,
sucks.
this is the year the team was built to really start competing when they were first
Yeah.
putting it together. When they signed Seager and Simeon, we got lucky and it all popped off in 2023.
Yeah.
But this was supposed to be the time, and they're going the opposite direction. So, so I don't know. As far as guys who are actually going to be free agents, Sam Haggerty probably going to make a little over $1 million next year. I don't know
Sam
if we're
Haggerty
going
was a journeyman
I don't know
anyway.
if we're going to pay him for that. Rowdy Tellez. Someone's
Journeyman.
probably going to pay him a little bit more after him doing pretty well for us. So I don't know. I don't know who comes back. Spores is in arbitration. I don't know if he'll ever pitch again.
No, I think he's on track to be back.
Okay. I just haven't
Yeah.
heard him in
Which
so long.
I know it sounds funny to laugh at, but like if you're actually gonna still watch the rest of these Rangers games, you're actually absolutely hoping for Spores to get his ass on the fucking mound.
Yeah, so what we want to see out of September of this year, I guess, before we even hop into next year, is some prospects
Who do we
and
keep?
some hurt guys. I want to see Osuna hopefully get his average up a little bit.
Yeah, Osuna needs max reps right now.
I want to
sure.
see Curvelo try to close a game or two if possible.
Yeah, it's fine.
Maybe even try to let Rocker close a game or two at this point, if
Yeah,
possible.
definitely unleash Kumar and Jack. They get to pitch as many innings as they want.
Fuck it. Bring me Oscar Toledo. I think that's his name.
Yeah, bring me that guy. Don't bring me my guy yet, though. I heard his average a little low.
Sebastian,
so keep
he's still too
keep
young.
the Seabass where he
Still
is.
too
Let
young.
him
That's
marinate.
okay. He's
Let
not
the
Mike Trout.
Seabass
That's fine.
marinate.
No one can be, and even Mike Trout was
Yeah.
only able to be Mike Trout for so long.
So yeah, I mean, it's an absolutely abysmal position to punt on the team this quickly, but it's necessary.
I don't think this is quickly.
Well, there's still a lot of baseball technically, and they play a lot. They play every goddamn day for the most part.
Like I said, it's
So,
not mathematically impossible, but
Not mathematically.
I'm not
likely.
rooting for it here, and I guess I'm just
I love it
interested to.
because the theory being that if you get in the playoffs, those pitchers shut everyone else down. Obviously, the same problem exists. You got to score a run or two, but
Yeah,
I know
you're for sure the other team will shut our offense down.
There's three ways to look at the future of the Rangers to me. If you're like Jeff Passan and you're just super omnipotent,
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 omnipotent.
impotent. If you
You heard it here, guys. Jeff.
Jeff Passan is
so if you're like Passan, right, and you look at the Rangers and you're like, all right, you're realistic about the expectations of the franchise because you feel like the plan. And then there's the people that feel like, me, who are fans of the franchise and feel like there isn't an excuse to not go in. So that's the Kyle Tucker theory, right? That's the Rangers. Look at what they did this offseason. They're embarrassed. They spend all the money on Kyle Tucker. Obviously, they reimagine some of these things. And now they're back with a new big bat. Now they're back with the pitching staff that's mostly kept together, hopefully better on the back end. God knows, hopefully better on the back end, and we're rolling. And then there's the third one, right? And I say passing because I think the realistic expectation is the Rangers are going to continue to be boring, because that's who they are. They are above average.
Okay. Are you talking about on the field boring?
I'm talking about just as a franchise overall. The expectation going into winter is that, yes, the Rangers are likely to – don't be surprised to hear the Rangers' name, but also don't look for the Rangers necessarily to be the team stealing everybody again, like they did the 1 year, And they planned for that. And we knew the Rangers were going to do what they did that free agency years before they did it, right? But I do wonder if you look at that. But then the third one, and this is where I wonder if it's Chris Young, if it's above him, whatever – do you sell high on Nate? Do you go ahead and try to get something for Josh Young? And then do you sort of just look at Marcus and Corey and be like, sorry, guys, this is life now. Corey, you might be here when we're good again.
I would say Simeon and Seager would be the two that aren't going anywhere.
No, that's what I mean. So you're looking at them and you're like, all right, buddies, this is your new normal.
Strap in, yeah.
Get ready to lose 100 games, buddy.
Probably not going to get that bad. There are some interesting names besides Kyle Tucker. Would be very funny. Let me make sure nothing's changed on this. I was going to say it would be really funny to pick up Framber Valdez. The Astros pitcher.
Pitching is good, but it's like it's back end, I mean, I feel like we can almost manifest a starter the way that Chris Young's been doing his thing. We
can take a look at Pete Alonso. You were right. The problem with Bo Bichette is there's nowhere to put him unless you're going to move Seager to first or something, but that seems like you're not going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, there is a question, but Corey started off a little scarier with that than it's been. Marcus,
technically, Cody Bellinger could opt out, but you kind of have a logjam in the outfield, maybe.
No, you're not doing for Bellinger. You're doing for Tucker. You're not doing for Bellinger. You know what I mean? But yeah, Pete Alonso would make a ton
Josh Naylor re-signed with the Mariners, so I don't think he's going to be free next year. I think this is an older article. I might be wrong, though.
So, yeah, I mean, Pete Alonso would fit in perfectly to what we need. Big bat. First base has been sort of schmuck for hire, for lack of a better word. We love our former schmucks.
Naylor is a free agent, so that'd be fun if we could steal him from the Mariners in the offseason.
Which position?
First base.
First as well.
They just got him from the Diamondbacks.
Right.
In a trade. Also, there's a guy coming over from Japan who's apparently a first baseman, third baseman, and outfielder. So let's just grab that right now.
Right. All right. We got to think about the Japanese. I mean, it would be nice because that's just the mystery box at this point, right?
I would say there's a good chance he's at least a 0 WAR player. Probably.
Yeah, better. I mean, and I guess the question also is, it gets into deeper, right? Do you expect the catcher to be the same situation next year? I don't.
Heim's a free agent, I think, this year. What do you think about?
So with Higgy, right? They just brought him on 1 year.
I think so. I can't read. Oh yeah, Command F.
So maybe we're thinking wrong. Maybe we're thinking.
Oh no, Higashioka signed through 27.
Okay, well, that does make me think less about them trading for a big name catcher.
And he's been fine. Yeah. Nothing bad there, I don't think.
No, yeah, and it does seem like if you're going to make a decision, you either just bring Jonah back for cheap as fuck.
Yeah, that's the question.
Or you replace Jonah with something similar.
He's not a free agent. They'll go to arbitration. Although they've avoided arbitration for like the last 20 years, so
right,
they'll probably figure it out before arbitration happens. But.
To me, it's just like I don't mind having Jonah back, but it's like I know that Nate Lowe hasn't gone perfect. I know Robert Garcia hasn't gone perfect. Nate got cut, and now he's maybe helping the Red Sox. We'll see. But I don't hate the idea of cutting off and moving on from Heim and replacing him with something similar like we did with Jake Berger and Nate Lowe. I mean, it didn't quite work out, but I still think the logic made sense, and I do think we were better at first base this season with Jake Berger.
For significantly cheaper.
Yeah.
Less than $1 million for Greg
So
Berger. And we got, who did we get in the Nate Lowe trade? Robert Garcia, who
it was Robert Garcia and something. I don't know if it was something else that was minuscule. It was just Robert Garcia. And Robert Garcia started the season looking really
look,
good.
He still has. There's still some. If you look at some of the advanced numbers, there's a reason to believe next year he will be getting better results without having to change much.
And if he's
It's
already
there,
on
you can
contract, I'm
see
fine
it.
with it.
It's probably and it's always kind of the thing with bullpens aren't consistent anywhere.
Yeah.
That's what made Mariano Rivera such a freak.
Yeah. But it does feel like you need an answer for closer, and going into it being like, dude, trust us, Robert Garcia is fixed, is going to be tough. I don't know. I'm just saying. I've been very pro Robert Garcia throughout this season, but I think it's probably cooked.
And sorry, one more sentence.
Who else do I not want back from the relief group? There's a bunch. There's a bunch. Remember when Garabito was already we started the season with Garabito doing this bullshit, and then we were like, all right, we cut Garabito, it can't get worse. Baseball gods were like,
Can always get worse.
how about Phil Matton? Matone,
Anyways.
whatever.
Mayton.
Matton.
Look, I don't have much else on baseball, but I do think Caesar
Stop.
wanted to do something a little different here, not baseball related. So we're gonna
Not
give
baseball.
him all the time in the world.
Oh, I won't take too much of y'all's time.
See how
Usually we
interesting it is.
reserve this. Yeah, usually we reserve this
Let
for.
us decide that, all right?
Fair enough. All right. Usually we reserve wrestling talk for the other show, but well, fuck it. I don't know. That other show's hard to plan out sometimes. Listen, there's been some actually very big news in the world of professional wrestling. The WWE is coming to ESPN, sort of, but not really. So WWE is moving their premium live events from NBC's Peacock subscription service to ESPN's direct-to-consumer services. So, what does this mean? Well, it means a lot of things. First and foremost, TKO, the parent company of WWE, is getting their greedy hands in any little area that they can to maximize profit for themselves and
They
price
own
out.
UFC also, right?
They own UFC as well. They managed to get UFC a $7.7 billion deal with Paramount. And with WWE, they get a $1.6 million deal with ESPN. So now, if you are a wrestling fan, right, you can see future premium live events after, I believe, starting September 20th on ESPN Plus and any of those other premium ESPN services. So now you can see ESPN on a variety of online networks such as Netflix, ESPN. You can go to USA Network. Whereas UFC, they're all in one little cozy pocket now going to Paramount. So as far as the business goes, the average WWE fan used to pay $7.99 a month, I believe, for Peacock to watch things like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and everything in between. Now they'll have to pay $29.99 a month to see their premium live events. Of course, they'll have access to all these other content produced by ESPN or presented by ESPN. However, one thing that people do not seem to realize over at TKO is that your average wrestling fan probably isn't watching Monday Night Football or the NBA or MLB, NHL. They're usually going to stick to their niche interest here. And so this is just more of a talking point now that we got the news part out of the way. This is more along the lines of you're pricing out your average fan, and in the long run, that's going to cost you. Sure, you get these rights for I believe it's 5 years, $1.6 billion. And then after those 5 years, you've probably bled your core audience dry at that point. And so this is just another thing where I'm like, okay, TKO, you greedy sons of bitches, you guys need to learn game. All right.
Well, that's the problem.
Market-
This is the game, though. I mean,
Well, they're playing a different
I
game
fear
then.
the NBA is doing a very similar thing to their product right now. I think the NFL
Oh, yeah,
will fall into a
absolutely.
similar trap. I think they are doing it very cleverly, but I still think that a lot of these leagues, and I think it's why you're seeing ownership groups selling like what way they are. Like, I think
Yeah.
we might be looking at the peak of sports making money. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Not that they're going away, but this might be
There's going to be a bubble pop.
everybody's cap right now.
Yeah, there's gonna be
plateau
a-
at least.
There's
Yeah.
going to be a pop in the streaming services thing when it comes to sports. And here's why I say they're playing a different game, because their game used to be let's appeal to our appeal to the wrestling audience goes as such. One, and they've done market studies on this. I'm not pulling shit out of my ass. This is legitimate. So, on average, on a bunch of different surveys, they've shown that majority of wrestling fans are some of the lowest earners in the United States. Right? They're some of the least educated. All right. So, what does WWE do? They make their events affordable to go attend. Right? They're not insulting you. Your intelligence is too much.
You say they're
All right.
affordable to attend. I think
No,
that's
no.
an expensive ticket.
No. That was affordable. This is prior to TKO.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Prior to TKO, a lot of these events were affordable. Like, when I say affordable, in 2016, Tyler Owens, a friend of the show, and myself, we got great seats for $300 for WrestleMania. Like, fantastic seats, great view. That same area now on a TKO would probably be 3 or 4 times that price.
I didn't realize
Right.
that this was a recent changing of. I mean, I knew that obviously the
It's the Vince
McMahon
McMahon
thing,
stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
but this
Vince
is
McMahon stuff.
this is the fallout of that, and this is 2023 when they take over.
So he was
Yes.
like, "Oh, my wife got a really important job, and I want to support her, so I'm going to sell this to TKO, right?"
No.
My
Sure.
wife's about to get
Not
a
the-
really important job.
Not the whatchamacallit.
And are you also going to comment
The lawsuit
on
that
him?
he's currently under for
Are you going to comment
being
on
a
the
sex
fact that
pest.
he looks like Donald Glover in that one creepy episode of Atlanta?
Yeah, no. Listen, I've seen that enough. It's creepy. That guy does not have much time left. I can tell you that much. Look at that. Look at that face.
What was the name of that character? I bet
Teddy?
I bet Patrick, yeah, Teddy. It was
Teddy
It was
Perkins.
Teddy Perkins.
Teddy Perkins.
Yes. Well,
Teddy Perkins, yeah,
Is someone already put a side by side together? It's got
Yeah.
to.
No,
With him and Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon
Yeah.
right now. Yeah, a recent clip
Kinda
came
looks
out of
like
Vince
him, yeah,
McMahon,
and it's really-
the plastic surgery is getting quite terrifying.
it really is, man. Because he looks well. I mean, he does. He looks like he's trying to look 20 years younger, but then you look at what he looked like 20 years ago, you're like, buddy, no, what is going on here? But anyway, back to this though. This is how greedy TKO now is. So, all right, we have now established they are on multiple different networks, much like the NBA, the NFL. You know, it's getting to a point where they're pricing out their fans, where a ticket to a wrestling event is not cheap at all. Not anymore. Merchandise through the roof in terms of its pricing. And they're doing all this at the same time they're buying up competition. So earlier in the year, they bought a well-known Mexican promotion known as AAA. There's talks about them buying another promotion that's been around for quite some time called TNA.
Mhm.
And all this because an NFL owner has established a really good foothold on the cable television market. Tony Khan, who is the son of Shad Khan, right? Those two, the Khans own the Jaguars, right? They have been doing very well for themselves in the last year or so. They've stuck around longer than anybody anticipated that they would, considering
Sure.
they debuted in 2019 with AEW, and then they almost immediately faced the pandemic right after having no attendance, right? So they were bleeding money. But now they are selling out Globe Life. And by selling out, I mean they had a projected amount of tickets. They put them out and they sold almost every single one. All right, for a baseball stadium. The O2 Arena in London, a very famous arena.
Oh yeah.
A new event they're having an event right now. I think it's called Forbidden Door. That's sold out, right? And now,
weird name, but okay.
But now WWE, who have for the last couple years, last year or so, have said we do not look at AEW as competition. We don't do it like none of what we do is influenced by them. No, not anymore, fellas. Here's what they're doing now. There's been talks about purchasing TNA to have them go head to head with AEW on Wednesdays, so that if TNA is able to muster up a big chunk of the audience share, right? You're making WB, who I believe owns TNT now, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And TBS and all that, Time Warner.
The Turner Empire.
The Turner Empire. And AEW is on HBO Max, another streaming platform. You make them look like, hey, listen, our product is so much better. You're wasting money putting them on the air. So that's one strategy. Another strategy that they're putting out there, and it's very obvious for everybody to see, counter programming. So, like I mentioned, Forbidden Door. That is, I believe, on. Oh no, there's a not Forbidden Door. It's called All Out. It's September 20th.
Well, they both
coming from
sound
Toronto,
like...
Ontario, Canada. WWE. Yeah, I know.
They both
the
sound
name,
like late night Cinemax shows, but okay.
You're not wrong. Absolutely not wrong. But a lot of wrestling events do have some very
I mean, the
questionable
eroticism
names.
isn't hidden.
So
No, that's fair.
I know at all. And plus,
Full
wrestling is built on
penetration.
the eroticism.
Wednesday nights.
Full penetration.
Oh man,
The forbidden back door.
the forbidden. Oh my god. All right. Well, yeah,
Forbidden
and All
Door
Out,
sounds
right?
more like a bad translation.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, seeing that it is
they had to translate it to England. They didn't realize that they thought it was a different language. They're like,
seeing that the event, the whole theme behind Forbidden Door is AEW partners with a Japanese and Mexican companies to get their stars on their product.
There's
might
not
not
actually a word in English for
No.
this, but the closest we have is Forbidden Door.
It's Forbidden Door. Yeah. Well, anyway, back to this stuff.
They were like,
WWE.
what do you call this? It's called a Nellywickers. Like, what?
Oh my god. So WWE is now saying, fuck any sort of integrity. We are now going to counter program you. It started with, well, now, for them, yes. Listen, we know better.
There's been a lot
They
of
don't.
integrity over
All
the
right.
years.
They put their head in the sand and they're like, you can't tell us anything about all the awful things that we've hidden and done to women and minorities. Listen, what they're doing now with their counter programming, they've created a brand new premium live event that didn't exist before under their umbrella. It's called WrestlePalooza. They went and got Brock Lesnar, who has been hidden away because his name is mentioned 44 times in a lawsuit by Janelle Grant against Vince McMahon for trying to and having trafficked her sexually, human trafficking, a lawsuit. His name brought up 44 times. They've brought him back onto their product to face
You're
John Cena,
saying
who is
Lesnar was an alleged accomplice in a complaint, a legal complaint.
yes. And so John Cena, who's having this giant retirement tour, right? Well-known retirement tour. They are throwing Brock Lesnar at him, and they're like, hey, look at our event happening September 20th to keep eyes away from AEW. Because this is very much box standard capitalist right here. It's like, hey, this is our competition. We're going to squash you. Maybe buy you up eventually after you bleed money dry. That seems to be the direction that WWE and AEW are headed in now that ESPN is involved.
There can be only one.
It seems that there can only be one in the eyes of TKO, WWE. But here's the thing: the cons have a lot of money, so we'll see what happens with this going long term.
They seem to have like more ethical wrestling, for lack of a better word. Let me explain.
More so compared to WWE, yes.
I don't
How many
necessarily
Saudi
mean
investors
that.
do they have?
I don't necessarily mean ethical as far as like normal people ethics. I meant it like the way that James Gunn just made a very ethical Superman. Not again in the politics, but to the people who love the core thing.
Absolutely.
It's very faithful to their principles.
They want to play the game, not the game.
Yeah.
So, and the best way to put this, what you're saying. So WWE's version of wrestling is very well known. It's like you are a WWE superstar. You're doing the WWE style, right? AEW is saying we welcome all styles of professional wrestling because professional wrestling is what they do, right? They don't do what WWE does, which is try to appeal to a mass target audience, right? They want you to ignore the fact that at its core, professional wrestling is a niche thing, right? It's just a niche thing that makes a lot of money, at least when you're WWE or AEW in this case. So yeah, they are more, AEW being more true to the roots of professional wrestling. WWE now under the TKO umbrella, and even since Vince McMahon, bought up the company from his father, they have been trying to do everything they can to not be professional wrestling while still present to you their version of professional wrestling. And a lot of people have been turned off by that and have gone to AEW. Now, is it enough to make WWE scared? Sort of, but WWE apologists will say, "Oh, it's not enough." They're not winning the ratings battle or whatever.
The Don Draper meme, I don't think about you at all.
Yeah, basically. Exactly. Well, every other thing is like, AEW could never do this. They could never get Jelly Roll of all fucking people to headline your event. What are we talking about now? But yeah, just that's just something I want to bring up to our audience at large.
Rightfully
Keep in mind, there is a war going on between two major wrestling promotions involving major sports networks and NFL ownership and all this other stuff.
Just to play a little bitty bit of devil's advocate, because it's not even that funny of a hypothetical. It just piques my interest a bit.
Yes.
What's the possibility of casual sports fans now becoming more interested in wrestling as a part of having the ESPN package? That I do have. It's probably what they're gambling on.
It's what they're gambling on, but this is where I will kind of do a little pushback, because at least since 2023, right, and maybe even a little bit before then, while we were following, and Patrick, you and I have talked about the storyline, the Bloodline storyline, Cody's story, all that, when we were doing the Wrestling Royale, that shit was on ESPN. That shit was on the Pat McAfee show. It was getting attention on the mainstream network already, right? So if they weren't already benefiting from that level of exposure, I don't think being on ESPN Plus is going to be a significant boost. It might be a minor boost for sure for anybody
I've watched shitty college football teams because I've had the opportunity to click a button.
I guess I was going to say the more casual viewer, because that's a choice option. It's not like the old days where you just turned on ESPN. Now it's like you open the ESPN Plus app and you have a lot. I do think wrestling has a more of a barrier for getting new people to click on it.
Yeah, because you are going to be exposed to a bunch of names, characters, storylines.
What's up? If I click on Disney Plus, they're going to show me the ESPN options, and then I'm going to have that there, right?
There'll be a wrestling option within that.
I believe so, yes.
So, I'm curious how Hulu's products are going to do beyond wrestling. I'm curious how ESPN's
Hulu and ESPN already run through Disney, though. You can get it all.
No, it is, but it's officially all just one app in next year.
I know, but
we knew was coming, but ultimately, I do think once that actually does change, I'm interested in how much all of that content being on one platform does for the individual content, because it's already sort of daunting for people to go through a lot of these catalogs, no matter what they do, what formula they think works.
Yeah.
And this is about to be a metric fuck ton of content on one platform.
And I do believe that might actually be a detriment in the long term. Maybe not so much in the short term, because there might be that curiosity. It's like, oh, WWE's on this app now. Let me see what they're doing. For anybody who was an old fan that tuned out for a while. However, I will say this: these premium live events are on Saturday nights, right? So, how much traction is ESPN getting on Saturday nights when there's not a lot of major sporting on Saturday,
Nice.
right? At least until basketball comes back. But even then, you're not getting a bunch of football on Saturday night on the ESPN app.
They're not running NBA Saturday night on ESPN.
It's not as big a deal. No, definitely not on ESPN.
No.
They will with this new partnership. I don't know who will take over those games, but yes, they don't prioritize the Saturday slot until post football season.
Yeah, cause, I just think a lot of people don't, or leagues kind of know Saturday night. A lot of people go out on Saturday nights, right? So a lot of events aren't
usually the best programming.
It's definitely not the best programming. So WWE is taking a gamble on that too, because they air Saturday nights. They might move to Sundays, but then they're up against the NFL, which they have historically never done well ever, nobody ever does, right? But at that point, you're just like, all right, we're gonna be on the ESPN. We're gonna move our stuff to Sunday because we're now counter programming AEW, but AEW has established themselves with a niche, with a core audience that's very strong right now, and they'll watch, right? Because they're not gonna watch it. They're not gonna watch football anyway to begin with.
It'll be interesting to see develop. Also, final thing: do you think they should have went with Crunchyroll instead?
That would have been way better. That would have been way better. There's more crossover. No, that is a legitimate question.
Oh,
because
you're saying
there is more
what
crossover.
streamer should they have gone to?
I thought you meant
if you
Disney had taken in Crunchyroll instead.
Disney probably will have Crunchyroll.
I
have to clean a lot of it up.
Yeah, I have regularly told people that one way to look at wrestling, professional wrestling, is like live action anime.
Yeah,
the ridiculousness, the plot lines,
that's why
everything.
I do wonder is would it have been the right streamer? But obviously, I don't think either of those companies have actually they may share an audience, but I think that's about it.
And even
I wouldn't be surprised to see Crunchyroll as part of Netflix in the next 10 years.
God, I hope not.
Yeah, actually, that one they do
at
have
least Netflix America, Netflix.
Well,
USA,
I don't know, man, because Netflix Crunchyroll is under Sony, and unless Sony starts bleeding money, I don't think they'll let them buy.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that. Okay, that's probably that's why Crunchyroll is. I've always just have assumed, which is probably right, that the fan base is just so behemoth that it's kept Crunchyroll and all its alive like it has.
It definitely is.
Owned by Sony is also a great.
But I mean, that's how they got owned by Sony. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. This is how far it went. Because I've heard of Crunchyroll for a very long time at this point. I may have used it every now and again. I've never had my own account. Always shared people's things for sure. But I got to get that Dragon Ball fix every couple of years.
Hey man, you let me know. I have the fucking account.
Oh yeah, no, I got the brother-in-laws now.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Yeah,
that would have been a really great natural fit. However, I don't know that that's going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, that's all I got on that, gentlemen. Thank you for allowing me this time to talk about some professional wrestling.
Hell yeah, league competition.
And as they say in wrestling, let's go to halftime.